With talk heating up about regulating the world's largest banks, I'm joined by Giovanni Carosio, chairman of SEBS. Mr. Carosio, Mervyn King last week said that he had no intention of speeding up his timetable for Basel III. Does that effectively mean that Basel III is dead?
Absolutely not. I think we are on track on delivering this package as previously intended. So essentially, in December this year, we will have the largest part of the whole regulatory package, and then there will be a couple of remaining aspects that will have to be dealt with in the coming month. Essentially, the parts that have to do with counter-cyclical capital buffers, and of course with the SIFIs problem, the too large to fail banks.
How do you define what is a SIFI? How do you think that will be set in stone?
That's of course the sort of more contentious aspect of the whole problem. There are of course three main criteria that should be used, and that's size, its interconnectedness, and also the difficulty in replacing the entity should it fail. Now, the problem is that some of this can be made into an indicator of some sort, but in the end it will be necessary to exert some discretion on the side of the supervisors. Now, the point is, of course, that this opens the way to possible non-level playing field conditions, an excess of discretion, if you like. So, at the same time, we will also have to think about a peer review mechanism, essentially, that will ensure that this is done in a fair and comparable fashion.
Broadening it out, I mean, ECOFIN has said that there should be regular stress tests on banks. When do you expect the next one to be, and do you think it should be done in the same way as the one earlier in the summer?
Yes, we are already working, in fact, on a next exercise. This will have more or less the same time schedule as this year. So the results will be ready by June, we suppose. Now, essentially, yes, the basic structure of the exercise will be the same. Namely, we will have scenarios both for the baseline and for the adverse conditions coming from the ECB and the Commission, as we did in the previous case. And then this will be applied in a sort of bottom-up fashion to the banks in the sample, in the sense that banks will use their own internal models under the control of national supervisors to sort of deliver what the impact of those scenarios on their P&L and their capital.
You mentioned the ECB. I mean, how concerned are you that when the ECB removes its liquidity measures, which it's obviously doing at the moment, do you think that's going to create more problems in the short term?
Well, we have, in fact, been launching a new risk assessment, sort of thematic part of our regular risk assessment, which will deal especially with funding risks and liquidity risks of banks. So we intend certainly to have information on what the conditions of each bank are, and to see together with national supervisors what kind of planning, if you like, needs to be done in order to ensure that the banks will be able to keep a stable condition even when things will change in the market in terms of interest rates or the possible need to do without excessive dependence on central bank refinancing.
And as a final question, much of the drive towards regulation this year has been done by politicians. Do you think it would be more useful in retrospect had it been done by the banks themselves?
The banks themselves? Well, no. I think essentially there must be, I suppose, in regulation a combination of technical aspects which are dealt with by supervisors and committees of supervisors with an interaction with the industry. and this is precisely what we've done. But at the same time, the final rules need to be approved by politicians.